Milton, my friend, welcome to Cryptowise, everybody. Welcome back to Cryptowise. My name is Marvin.
My name is Milton.
That is right. We've got Milton here, and we are back, and we are talking all things crypto. And today is what I would consider, Milt, a sad day for crypto and the world.
It's been a rough week, my friend, but we are here. Marv, you survived? Have you survived? Are you still alive over there?
I'm alive, buddy. I'm alive and well. I am numb to the chaos. That's what it is. I'm numb now, man. I've been numb for years, though. Like, I got a lot of friends in crypto. Obviously, we've got the Cryptowise family, and there's a lot of pain out there. There's a lot of people suffering through these downturns. And, of course, today we're talking about the death of Luna, which is a sad topic to talk about, but it's one that needs to be addressed. But yeah, a lot of guys are really suffering, Milt. A lot of guys lost a lot of money in this last dip here. Well, I don't know if I can call it the last dip, but the most recent dip.
The most recent dip for sure. And we've been talking on the channel. Obviously, we started the channel now, a year and a half ago or whatever it's been. And it's been good times. It's been, we've been around for this bull cycle, and we all thought maybe there's another leg up. I thought that, we were pretty, we were disciplined. We were taking little bits of profit here and there, but certainly most of my money was still in the market when this happened. And so, yeah, I'm down huge as everyone else is. The market's just never going to do what you think it's going to do. It's impossible to time the top. It's impossible to time the bottom. And this is another big lesson. And this is when the real work begins. And if you're anyone who's new, who's just coming to crypto now, good for you, because what a time to come in. This is going to be where we start the real work.
Yeah, I mean, look, I guess I say I'm numb to this because although it's painful, I was watching some videos earlier. I was watching actually I was watching videos from last year. I was watching videos from a couple of years ago. What I find interesting is, like, we're talking about this massive dip in the market right here that we're looking at on the charts, right over here. And the thing is, it wasn't that long ago, Milt, when Bitcoin was at $3,500, and then it was at 8,000, 9,000. It was at 10,000, and then when we hit 20K, it was like, holy shit. And here we are at this massive sell-off cycle, and we're still here just hovering just under 30K. And
I mean, that's the thing.
A lot of pain out there.
You got to zoom out and look at the big perspective. I mean, that also is maybe, reason to also still be cautious, because we've seen in past cycles, obviously, that, I mean, in terms of the amount of pain that could happen, we're still not quite there yet. So
I am pretty happy. I am pretty happy about what happened last night, though, because a lot of people were sleeping and didn't even notice really what took place. But if you were awake in the Eastern time zone, if you were awake in the wee hours of the evening, you would see that Bitcoin's candle here actually went all the way down to around 25K. And that washout is actually, it's quite important to me, because I was more concerned going into bed last night that we're going to wake up in the same area that we were, which we did without a washout, because then if we go sideways, there's a lot of expectation that there was another wash coming, and it looks like that took place, which gives me some hope that maybe the temporary bottom's in.
I mean, maybe. The only thing that scares me is that it wasn't a lot of volume coming in to prop it up. Usually when you see that wick, where it go with that capitulation, and there's this long wick, and then you see that kind of
wick right
bump
here
up. There's usually a huge green candle in terms of volume there. But I mean, we'll see. I think most of the pain has happened. Look, is 25 the bottom? Do we go a little bit lower? I don't know. But, obviously a lot of pain has happened. So I think the worst of the pain has happened. I think it's going to take a long time before we start kind of really getting out of this. But I think what really, and the thing we're going to be talking most about today, it's not the dip in Bitcoin that scares me. I've seen this a million times. It's not the dip in the alts, that happens. They go up, they go down. But the Luna, we haven't really quite seen anything like what happened to Luna. This is a new, as each cycle happens, the tech changes, the experiments and change and NFTs and DeFi and stuff. And so this time, the very first time we had these algorithmic stable coins, the biggest obviously being UST from Luna. And to see that die within a couple of days, we've never seen anything like
Look at
this. This is really what we're
this.
talking about in terms of the pain. This is the people who were heavily, and I know a lot of people who were heavily invested in Luna because they thought it was safe. They thought they were doing the safe thing. They were taking their profits, putting it in a UST, and loving the 20% interest on it, thinking it was a stable coin.
Have you ever seen this before? Have you ever seen this?
Wow.
You can't even see because of the template we have on the screen, but it goes all the way down below. Like this, and a lot of people are saying like, well, why didn't people sell on the way down? Well, here's the thing: a lot of people were locked. A lot of people were staking and were locked in, and didn't have the flexibility to get out.
So, I mean, I'm not heavy into Luna, and people who watch our regular Cryptowisers will know this, that we don't really talk about Luna on the channel. We've never really talked about it. And to be honest, I heard a lot of people talk about it and stuff. And I always thought to myself, you should really be, maybe, why aren't you putting more money in UST?
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
20%. And because we're so heavily researching DOT and other chains, I just didn't really have the time or inclination to do the research.
Got lucky. We actually got lucky that was the case, because Luna was it was a project I was interested in too. We were both interested in it. So it wasn't
there's the discipline. The discipline is, for me at least, I don't put a lot of money into something until I've done the research. And because then I can say to myself, look, if I lose the money, that was my instinct because I put the time in, I put the research in. So I was not going to put a lot of money into Luna without doing the research. But my only Luna I do own is, I've talked about this chain before, SIF chain.
Yeah.
It's on Cosmos the way that Luna is. It's a Cosmos chain basically. And so I had a little bit of Luna in liquidity there, and same thing. I couldn't get it out because it's a 7-day unbonding and whatnot. Thank God I only had a tiny bit, but if you added liquidity to something, it's not like you can just get out of it. There it is there. SIF chain.
I tried to bring it up because it's one of these ones that I've been dying to FOMO in just because of you. And I don't want to be not on something that, you're in and then it goes. But what I really wanted to see was the logo. And it looks like they've made some up. They're kind of going away from the original brand.
The original, it's getting a little bit better. The Omni chain thing is pretty cool, but no, their original branding was awful. But honestly, the thing about SIF chain was doing amazing. The whole market was doing shitty, except for my SIF chain was doing great. And I think we're going to have guys from the team on the channel maybe at some point. I've been talking to them, and then this happened to Luna, and now my Rowan, my SIF chain, is dumped because obviously they had a lot of liquidity in Luna and UST on their chain. So now look, they're under 6 cents now.
Ouch.
17
I mean, you talk about like the fact that we do intensive research. I don't think guys that were in Luna and did a lot of research and went in should be beating themselves up that they because it was a project that had a ton of potential and it was doing really, really well, right? I think the lesson is more about the fact that, if you were in Luna and you were in the profit zone, just like any sort of trading, it goes back to the disciplines of the fundamentals, which is take profit.
Yeah, but the thing about Luna was different, right? People thought that was their safe haven because it wasn't really
I realize,
Luna.
But a lot of people
it was UST.
I know, but a lot of people had made on Luna itself.
Okay, but Luna only, right? But those people who really believed in Luna, they had turned all their Luna into UST.
I realized,
staked it for, and they thought, like for them it was like being in USDC, which is my,
and getting a nice yield.
My stable is, they're getting a nice yield. So they thought they were doing the smart thing. And to me, the lesson is crypto is still experimental technology, and even the best intentions can go wrong, and even the biggest projects can die, and that's something you see very, very rarely. And it's a harsh lesson if you've put in, and it's also another lesson for diversification and allocation. How much of your full portfolio is in one project? Even if, like, for me, it would be DOT, right? Like, we believe in DOT
Oh,
so
I
much.
mean, I've made it public in terms of the percentage of my portfolio in DOT and the DOT ecosystem, and it's massive. I mean, similar to Rand, right, over at Crypto Banter, and he was big Luna boy, right? Like, it's, you do have to diversify, but you know, when you're bullish on something, you tend to go big, and it's hard not to. One thing I find really sad though, and I mean this honestly, is when I go to the list here, Milt, I'm used to seeing Luna up here, right? And I think, like, it's gone, man. It's like literally like like a celebrity in the crypto space that we see every single day in our lives for the last while is now disappeared. It's just gone. She's gone.
It's gone. Well, let's talk about exactly what happened. A lot of good threads going on Twitter. And a lot of people saying the same thing. This is one that this is a guy I follow, Root 2FI. I don't know him or anything, but he does a good explanation here. And this is, to me, I don't know, you can let me know what you think, Marv, but to me, this does sound like a play-by-play of what happened and why this happened. So people are like, well, how did it happen? How does something depeg? Was it an attack? Did people attack it? Well, yeah, I mean, something like this doesn't really happen unless it's an attack. And the thing about crypto and DeFi and finance, even in traditional finance, everyone is out there trying to make money. And if they see a loophole or they see a weakness in one platform or something's in, they're going to exploit it. That's what it is. So let's just go through what happened here. So he says, what happened to UST and Luna? Here's the thread of what happened in the last 4 days. So it all started with a massive sell-off on Curve. So Curve was the platform. There's a lot of liquidity pools there. A lot of projects have their liquidity in Curve. So there was an 85 million UST to USDC swap that had a 3 pool slightly out of imbalance. To put the Curve pool back into balance, 50,000 ETH was sold, and then another 20,000 ETH was sent to Binance. And that's from the Luna Foundation. So essentially, everyone knew that Luna had this treasury to help support UST. And, they made a big deal of buying a bunch of Bitcoin, and we'll get to that. But so that was, one thing was how public Luna was about their whole strategy.
Right.
So basically, anyone wanting to attack it kind of knew exactly what they were going to be doing. So the next rumors about what was happening spread it on Twitter quickly. And this led to $2 billion withdrawal of UST on Anchor. So a bunch of people, $2 billion worth, they wanted to withdraw their Anchor really quickly, or their UST on Anchor. They wanted to do it really quickly. And that much, that fast, that kind of withdrawal that fast ends up kind of depegging it a little bit. And then what happens is Luna has to defend it. And so they start trying to defend it. And one of the things this is one of the rumors that people think happened, is that someone borrowed 100,000 Bitcoin from Gemini.
Now, Gemini's come out though since, and they made a public statement on their Twitter, Milt, denying this, by the way.
Yeah, they deny that they did it on purpose, but they can't deny that they lend BTC to people. So, whether or not, I don't think they did it on purpose, but, BTC gets lent to people all the time. So who knows? And they don't know.
That's true.
People
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So anyway, so they get 100,000 in BTC and they're shorting. So they're going to short this BTC. And then they buy $1 billion worth of UST, an OTC deal. And so they know they have $1 billion they can sell. So the Luna Foundation, they're buying their Bitcoin in March and April. And we know, I did a video on it. I thought this was going to be great for DeFi. Obviously backfired.
Should we go delete that video right now? Should we get in there and delete that?
I still think it's a big move and we're going to talk later about Acala's stablecoin, what makes it different. And I think BTC can still play a big role in these stable coins, but obviously not this way. So anyway, on Curve, they announced that they're going to switch from a 3 pool to a 4 pool liquidity. So as Luna's moving 150 million UST out of this 3 pool to kind of turn it into this 4th pool, the attacker used 350 million basically to liquidate the Curve pool. So now there's no more liquidity on Curve. So, and this all makes the peg start creeping down. The anchor deposits really start to tank. Rumors spread quickly. And this is, and then the panic starts to set. That's the problem with these stable coins. Once that peg gets just even a little bit off, people start being like, what's going on? And then obviously this attack is happening at the same time. So anchor deposits were at 14 billion at the top. So there was $14 billion worth of UST in that anchor protocol. And you could watch the deposits go down by 10 million per minute.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Wow.
And so the peg's at 97. People are scared. On top of that, the NASDAQ's going down, stock market's going down, everything's going down. This leads to a lower Bitcoin price and lower altcoin prices. So Luna's price is tanking anyway in this, even without this attack.
It may have been the trigger.
Yeah, well, the whole stock market was kind of going down. I realize
that, but
this certainly didn't help. No. So they've spent these attackers, quote unquote attackers, they already spent 350 million of the billion that they bought of UST to liquidate the Curve. Now they've still got 650 million USD that they start selling on Binance. So they just start basically getting rid of this UST, 650 million of it, which definitely propels this peg to keep, the depegging gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is where Luna has to come in. We knew that Luna had bought 3 billion of Bitcoin. So they've got to start selling that Bitcoin to start protecting the peg. And this is basically, this was the cycle. And then these guys are shorting Bitcoin and they know that Luna's got to sell it. And they're probably shorting Luna at the same time.
Yeah.
And all they have to do is keep selling USD. And so basically that's what happens. And it's just a spiral. It's just how, it's just the spark. It's like a fire that, something happens like that in the panic. So not only are they dumping their 650 million of USD after already liquidating Curve, everyone else jumps in and tries to get rid of it.
The panic sets in.
And the panic sets in. And then if we go to so then what happened to the price of Luna, and why did Luna just kind of well, this is part of it, but also what happened, I found an article here. Where's this article? Here it is, I think. Yeah. So this is a good article on the block. So basically what happens is, how UST works is you got to burn, if you want to get out of UST, you burn it for Luna.
That's right.
And that's fine if Luna's at a good price. But once it starts going down, basically Luna is printing more and more, or Terra, Luna, they're printing more and more Luna. So anyone who wants to get out of UST, if they're trading, the lower Luna's trading at, the more Luna gets printed. And then those people are selling. So for example, when Luna's price was higher, so it was around 100, if you redeemed $1 of UST worth for $1 of Luna, you would get 0.01 of Luna. So that's what would be printed, 0.01 of Luna. So the increase in Luna it doesn't really affect it that much. But when Luna's price starts coming down, like now, it's this was written, it was at 10 cents. If someone's getting $1 of UST out, 10 Luna are printed.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine, if 100,000 UST is trying to get out, then that's another million Luna. And we saw the supply of Luna went from like a few 100 million to like 4 billion in the last couple of days. And then that's it. That's where you see charts like this.
This is crazy. I mean, look, we don't know what's factual and what's not. We're just taking what's out there, right? This is from the official Gemini Twitter, by the way. They say, we are aware of recent story that suggested Gemini made 100,000 Bitcoin BTC loan to a large institutional counterparties that reportedly resulted in a sell-off in Luna. Gemini made no such loan. This is from them. Again, we're just going with what's out there. It is obvious. The one thing though that is very obvious is that this was calculated There was
Yeah.
strategy involved, and it was manipulated. There's no question about that.
Yeah, and obviously that's just one guy's thread. This is another one, On Chain Wizard. He basically says the same thing. Now he doesn't name Gemini as the 100 however many Bitcoin it
100,000
was.
Bitcoin, yeah.
Yeah, 100, but he says the same thing. They borrowed 100,000 Bitcoin to start the position. I mean,
do you think Gemini will lend me 100,000 Bitcoin? Because I'm interested.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can borrow as much Bitcoin as you want. You just need the collateral. You didn't over.
No, I don't have the collateral, but I need the Bitcoin. Give me the Bitcoin. I'm going to send them a letter, see what they do.
Can you imagine having 100,000 Bitcoin? How beautiful that would be.
That was like 3 pizzas back in the day. Yeah.
And this chart. This is what you call a death chart, because we've never. The thing about this chart. This, in the movies when you see the guy's heart monitor and it just goes flatline.
I know.
This is what we call a flatline chart, because there's no trading anymore. Everyone is cut off.
I want to be really careful in using the word death, just because, and I know it's in our title, guys. But look, there's a lot of guys, Milt, that are really seriously upset about what happened. A lot of guys, they took loans, they used money that they couldn't afford to lose, and they lost on not just Luna and other areas of the market, and they're in a situation right now where they don't know what to do. And I think it's important, though, that we make it clear, guys, that this is not the end of the road for anything.
No. And let me just say, yeah, I agree with you. And let's just say, look, since I started in crypto, I've gone to zero a couple of times. And you hopefully learn from those mistakes, and you just build again. And every time I've built bigger and better the next time around. You got to you got to learn the lesson.
What do you say to the guy, though, that literally, took a loan on his house, didn't tell his wife, and tossed it all in? What do you say to that guy?
Well, first of all, I mean,
what do you say? Well, what I would say is, okay, that's not what you do, guys. What I just say to everybody that hasn't done that and may consider doing that, please do not do that. Only risk what you can afford to lose. That's the most important rule at all times.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But you can't say anything to that guy except for,
better days ahead. There are better days ahead. It is not over.
Pass, and
absolutely.
It really, really hurts. But ultimately, money can be regained. You can work and build yourself out of it. And there are more important things to life than
100%.
Obviously.
100%.
But the thing is, hopefully people didn't do that. But even if, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that had, a good chunk of money, whatever that means to them, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even over 1 million, and they lost it. And, I've been there before, and it really hurts, but it can be rebuilt. I would say the biggest lesson I took from the last downturn, you can't get out of crypto when things are bad and only come back when it's good. It will be too late. The time to build is when no one cares and it's dying. Okay. The real fortunes on this last bull run were made in 2018, 2019, and the early 2020 when no one was paying attention.
That's right.
Those are the guys who got in on all these projects that we're talking about. They got in at rock bottom prices, and they didn't need to, so they could take profits all through the way, because their profits
100%. Look, looking at Solana, because we're deep. I got a big bag of Sol, right? And I play in the NFT space a lot. You know that, Milt. And look, Solana's chart, I mean, it's way down. It's way down. I wasn't one of the lucky guys that got in the early 2020 days, okay? But a lot of people did. A lot of people. Daily volume was like 5 to 10 million at $1.40. And so looking at it now, it's at 44. For me, that's low. That hurt, right? Because I'm one of the guys that got in later. Now, if you got in, like Milt is saying early on, if you're doing the research and doing, taking those educated risks on stuff you believe in the early days or those bearish times, well, then these harder times, these guys are sitting on bags of Luna still, and they're still up 40x plus.
Yeah.
So, you really got to think about that. It's a different world. The vast majority of retail investors, some of which are probably watching this video, are going to do exactly what you said not to do, Milt. They're going to run when shit gets tough, and they're going to FOMO in when stuff is hyped, right? And that's where most of the blood on the streets comes from. But there are it's the times like these that the vast majority of opportunities present themselves.
Huge. Yeah. I show this chart that I have up because I think this is a perfect chart. And this isn't even a project I like, but I owned it back in the day. So this is Cardano.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah. A lot of Cardano fans in here.
This is the last bull cycle in 2017. You see this big spike here? This was the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it came down. I think
it kind of looks like a hemorrhoid I had back in 2020.
And then it starts coming down. I think I bought, because I was pretty late to Cardano. I bought it down in here, and it still kind of went down. I was like, okay, so this is probably around this time, right? Like in terms of the comparison, I'm thinking, from its all-time high, it's way down. I'm just going to buy some Cardano. And then I was like 90% down from its all-time high or something. And then you know what happened after I bought it? It went down another 90%. But I just said, okay, I'm going to keep buying more. And then in like 2018, it had a bit of a spike, and then it started going down and down, and then it was dead, right? Those 2 years or however long it was. And I don't think it's going to be this long this time around.
Yeah.
I don't think we're talking 2 years this time around, but this dead zone, think if you DCA'd into Cardano just a little bit here now and then, every month, every couple of months for these things, boom. And then look what happened to it. And Cardano doesn't even have a network. It doesn't even have anything on it yet. It doesn't even have a working ecology yet. And it's still just out of potential went from, from 8 cents in this last bull run to over $3 at one point. So, and now it's back down at 48 cents. So, we're going to find some sort of bottom here. When we find that bottom and you see months of basically inactivity, if that's what's going to happen, I'm not guaranteeing that's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. No one knows. But if it is, and you're like, crypto's dead, that's what you got to not do. Crypto's not dead. Crypto's not going anywhere. When everyone around you saying crypto's dead, that's when you buy. I'm not saying buy yet, but there will be a time when you just start DCAing into what these projects that you think have long-term potential, and that's where the money will be made. I promise you.
I think as you get more experienced, as you overcome these darker times of the markets, at least for me, my mindset changed back in 17, 18, right? I went from needing and sort of demanding in my own definition I wanted returns, and I was looking for very quick returns. And then I started to get smarter, right? When we went through that bear cycle, you pivot yourself, and you realize what you're trying to realize what you're really investing in. And for me, my whole mindset changed. It was all about long-term investing in things that I truly believe in, and that's why we talk so much about Polkadot and some of these things, that we really, truly believe in the technology and in the future and its potential growth in the future. And these are things that I don't care about the day-to-day of my DOT portfolio and what it's worth today. I actually don't. I don't lose sleep over it. I don't wake up at 2 a.m. when I'm going to go pee and check my phone, what's DOT trading at. I don't even look at it, because for me, it's a long-term strategy. It's a long-term play. I believe in the tech. I believe in everything that's being built around it. And I just know inside my heart, my belief is that it's going to have its day and it's going to do really, really well. And so I continue to add to my bag.
Exactly. And speaking of DOT, I do want to let's show just a tiny bit of this video here from Acala, because this is a video. So Acala is coming out with, Acala, if you guys don't know, it's a big, one of the big parachains on Polkadot. They're coming out with a stable coin on Polkadot.
aUSD.
Yeah. So aUSD. So these are the three, just to kind of give people who don't quite understand, well, what's the difference between UST and, say, Tether or whatever. There's really 3 kinds of stable coins now. There's the centralized stable coins, and that's Tether and USDC and other ones like Gemini, TrueUSD. And essentially, they're backed by fiat. So in theory, one tether is backed by $1 US dollar. Now, the scary thing about those ones is they're centralized. You're trusting the business that started it. Is that, do they have full transparency? That do they actually have it collateralized? You're really trusting that. And then this is where I think regulation is going to come in and actually really help for these centralized ones, is something like USDC that I use a lot. They're going to make sure that if I have $1 USDC, that this company is holding $1 back, so that if I want it back, I can get it. That's the stable, centralized ones. Then you've got algorithm backed ones. That's the third one here. That was like UST. It was some sort of algorithm. It had its own mechanism, its own kind of way of keeping that peg. Those are the most complex and the most risky, to be sure, because they're an experiment. It's a decentralized experiment. People, these math geniuses are coming up with trying to figure out ways that this, no matter what, can keep its peg. The other one, which is the aUSD, which is what Acala is doing, and it's the same as Maker DAI that Maker does, the Maker DAI stablecoin. It's crypto backed. So what's the difference of that? Well, you have to put up personally collateral, and then you can mint an aUSD. And you got to over collateralize. It's basically exactly like taking a loan from Celsius. If anyone's taken a loan from Celsius Network, basically Celsius, I hold some Bitcoin in there. I can take a loan from them for anything, but I have to put my Bitcoin up for collateral, and I have to put way more Bitcoin up than I get back. So that's what aUSD is doing. So let's just play a minute of this video, and Dan Reeser here does a good job of explaining this.
Peg, what's the difference between aUSD and other stablecoins? So this, I think, is a pretty good categorization of the different types of stablecoins, and maybe just going, I think, back to the basics might help really quickly. So
I just explained this, Mark, so maybe skip to the 1 minute mark or something.
That are backing collateralized, or is it collateralized by some sort of use different mechanisms, USD? But at the end of the day, the main difference is that DAI and aUSD and Tether and USDC are all backed by something. There's collateral there. So in aUSD's case, this is what Betty was just kind of walking you through, is when you mint aUSD, I'll actually show you on a slide here what it actually looks like in our UI. So when you're going to mint aUSD, you'll go here, mint aUSD, and the first thing it asks you is like, you want to open up a vault, is what it's called. And you go here and you choose the collateral. So when it says collateral, that means I want to back my aUSD with the value of this dot that I'm putting into this vault. So I'm agreeing with the Acala protocol itself and saying, hey, here's my dot. I'm going to mint aUSD with that dot backing my aUSD. And what you have to do right here, there's these collateral minimums. So in this case, it's 200% for dot. So what that means is you have to have 2 times as much dot in this vault backing the amount of aUSD that you issue yourself. So let's say it's $100 of dot that you have. You can mint at most $50 worth of aUSD. And what this allows is safety and stability of that loan that the Acala protocol has issued to the user. So the reason for that is, as dot price fluctuates, as the market changes, seen the last few days, this helps to hedge for that risk of the actual collateral behind aUSD fluctuating. And then what this section here means, this liquidation ratio, this means that if you reach the point where your collateral is only worth 1.6 times the amount of aUSD you have, your position will automatically be sold off and your vault will be closed. So this is one of the ways that
that's pretty good there, Mark. That's probably good.
By liquidations.
You got it. Yeah, no, that's really interesting.
Yeah, so essentially, if dot, so you basically say I got dot, as he said, say you want to get $50, you have to have $200 worth of dot, and then if dot's price starts going down, you have to put more dot in to keep that loan or pay it back before you get liquidated. Now, if you get liquidated, all that means is Acala liquidates you themselves. You pay, doesn't mean you lose all your money, but you do lose 15%. They take that as a fee, essentially a liquidation fee. So you got to make sure that if you've taken a loan of stablecoin from them, you obviously, if you don't want to lose that 15%, you got to make sure that you're collateralized. But so essentially, all aUSD in the Polkadot ecosystem, everyone individually is backing that. So I think that's a way safer, way better way to go. It's not one entity that is creating the stable coin for the whole network. Every individual using the network can create the more of the stable coin if they want.
No, it's super interesting. It's super interesting. I think there's so much tech, right? And we are, at the end of the day, a lot of this is new, Milt. Like, we are the guinea pigs in a lot of this, and that's why you got to be. You do have to diversify. You have to, you have to use caution. Luna is going to go down in the history books as a deep dark example of why we have to have that discipline and use caution and diversify, because we can believe in something, but remember, this isn't tried, tested, and true. We are at the forefront, and we are guinea pigs in this process. And why I think BTC is still going to be great for DeFi is something like aUSD, because if I'm someone right now, you can't use it as collateral because the parachain for the bridge to BTC isn't up and running yet. But eventually, when you have BTC on DOT, if I'm going to take a loan of aUSD, I'll probably use BTC because it's the least volatile asset. Right.
So I think you're going to have a lot of people lock up their BTC for stablecoin on DOT. That's why I think the future there's still a big future for Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
In DeFi.
If you haven't already, guys, please do us a huge favor. We didn't say it at the beginning. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click on that little bell. That bell is going to get you real-time updates when we drop videos or go live. And, of course, follow us on Twitter. Milt, you had the Twitter open there. We're regrowing our Twitter because of the Twitter scam that took place where they took over our Twitter.
There's so many crypto. Another guy
messaged
me this morning about getting scammed. I was like, dude.
Why are they? I mean, the fact that they're
do research for 10 seconds. Okay, so obviously they don't watch our videos. Every time we do a video now, I say this. NFT, it's the official NFT shape, diamond shaped, at Cryptowise guys. The old one was at Cryptowise Daily. This is at Cryptowise guys. It's our new one. Look for this NFT shaped diamond. Do not get scammed by these guys.
Do not be scammed. We want you back. Cryptowise, join the family. Get us at Cryptowise, guys. Make sure it's the official one with that diamond-shaped official NFT. That's how you'll know it's us, okay? It's the fact that so many people are doing this to us, Milt, I mean, means something, right? And the silver lining is obviously
how you know it's us, Marv?
How?
We have the least amount of followers.
Yeah.
All our scammers have way more followers because we lost our main account and now we're building from scratch. So follow us at Cryptowise, guys.
Now, what I guess what a lot of viewers want to figure out, what a lot of the Cryptowise family wants to know is like, what's our strategy now, given the current sentiment in the market where things are at right now? What are the kinds of things that we're doing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, Marv, what are you doing these days? Like, what are you thinking? How? Because obviously, there's the hodl positions, but other than hodling, what are you thinking?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think first of all, look, the hodl position. If you were disciplined and you do have stable coins and you've got some green, and you want to continue to increase your bags and average that in, there's some amazing opportunities, obviously, that are presenting themselves to do that. Be cautious. Don't go all in just yet. This may not be the bottom of bottoms. And so you don't have to, one of the beautiful things right now in crypto is it's not in the FOMO hype stage, so you have time. Like, I don't think that BTC is going to 10x tomorrow, and I don't think a lot of these alts are going to 10x tomorrow, and so you can take your time opening a lot of these positions. And then there's also a lot of stuff going on in terms of tools that can help make money on the day-to-day while being in crypto, Milt. And there's a project here that I'm actually going to be talking about that I stumbled across called TradeBots, okay? And TradeBots is a utility, an NFT, basically, that's going to be minting on Magic Eden. As you guys know, I love my NFTs. I'm still very deep into NFTs. I mint new projects every single week. I trade, I collect, all that kind of stuff. But what I found interesting about TradeBots, Milt, is these guys have an automated crypto trading platform, basically a bot, okay? It's a group of sophisticated traders, okay? And these guys know what they're doing. By the way, their dev team is from Ukraine, their entire dev team. I really like that. And so you're also supporting some really great Ukrainian startups and teams in the space, which is awesome. And by the way, the bots are actually really cool. They're back to the pixelated art, which I think is awesome. They're minting this on thing. But essentially, the trade bot allows you to connect with your major exchanges like Binance and etc. And have filter out your parameters. And so they use they have trade algorithms that they use, and there's traders in there that set their trades in real time, and you can connect to those, and the bot will essentially do the trading for you. It will trade in and out. You set the sort of percentages per trade. Generally on these bots, you're looking to gain, 1 to 3% in these trades, and the bot's making the trades for you. Okay, so it's buying in and it's selling out and trying to capture that sort of 2 to 3% average on every single trade. And I've always been really interested in these bots. I've always wanted to have one running for myself. But it's, most of the really good bots are held by the devs and the guys that have built them, and they don't share that technology. And so this is one. They have a video on their website. It's tradingbotsnft.io. I think I'm gonna cover this a lot more in my next NFT video. You can watch this video, which tells you about how the signals come in and then how the bot actually trades that for you via the exchange. But the only way into this exclusive trading club is through TradeBots. So I thought this was really, really cool. And they've got some prizes.
You told me of this project, and I find it really interesting because I've used one of these bots before.
Yeah.
And it, like you say, I mean, it actually did work, to be honest.
Right.
And,
but you just have to be. You got to really focus.
Yeah, you got to focus, and you got to make sure the parameters, you're putting the right parameters in for your.
That's
your
what
bot
I mean.
But the good thing, what I liked about the bot was, it's micro, like you said. It's basically, it doesn't need huge swings. It just makes little micro profits, and
it's got the discipline that I don't have, and it's automated. So like I can't sit there and do 300 trades in a day trying to make 2 to 3% on every trade. I also don't have the discipline to get out when it's up 2%. I can make it. It's going to go up 30.
The other thing is, like, a human can't really compete with these bots. That's the thing. If you're trying there, like one human brain trying to make micro profits off your trading, it's just not going to work. I mean, this is what people are using. They're using AI to do this. They're using these kind of bots. So yeah, when you showed me this project, I looked at it and I was like, that's interesting, because obviously you and I are big into the NFTs, especially Solana NFTs right now. And I'm glad you're going to be making a video.
I think I'll dive deeper into it. I think, always do your own research. The whitelist is open, guys. So if you want to check it out, go to tradebotsnft.io. It's something.
I'll say the only thing that I really liked it because the bot that I was using, to be honest, it was like this membership subscription thing. It was really expensive. And then you showed me this, and
this
I was like,
the other thing, right?
I just buy one NFT and I can use this trading thing. That's like $1 million cheaper than what I was spending on.
I was just going to say, like, a lot of the trading groups that I'm in and some of the software that I've used in the past, I'm paying like $500 a month per group to be a part of this. Okay. These guys are minting on Magic Eden. They're partnered with their Launchpad. And so you have the safety of minting it. I think it's set right now at 3 SOL from what I've seen, and where SOL is, it's like $150, lifetime pass to this exclusive club, and then lifetime pass to the trading bot software. It's a steal, assuming it all works well. From what I see and what I gather, and they've got evidence and they show videos, it looks like it works really well. And so I'm excited to dive deeper into that, Milt. That's just one example of kind of the things that I'm looking at. I'm going deep. I'm going outside of my comfort zone, and I'm looking for things that can continue to make me wealth in the space during these times, right?
And the key there are things that aren't too expensive. You know, at this point, you want to preserve capital.
At that price, anyone can really participate in that.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're going to take risks like that, I think that's kind of a good option because it's cheap, and who knows, it could be good. Obviously, do your own research on it. But yeah, no, that's great, Marv. Well, it's good to be back. Obviously, it's good also to to connect with the community in these times. And I want to reassure cryptowisers out there, we're not going anywhere. If anything, we've been kind of MIA the last couple of months.
I blame you.
We're not going anywhere. Yeah, I know.
When in doubt, I blame Milt. Always blame Milt, guys. If
we're going to double down on content, okay? Because we are not fair weather friends, okay? Bad market, good market, we don't care. We're not leaving crypto. And
I gotta say,
I'm planning on making a lot of money in this next bear run. Okay,
Milt,
so I'm going to be preparing and building for the next bull run, and hopefully Cryptowisers will be there with us.
Guys, 100%. Look at all the content we've created in our days. And this is still a pretty new channel, but look, a year ago we were talking about projects that are still way up from when we started talking about them. And look how shitty our thumbnails were back there. But hey, a lot of these projects are still way up from when we explored them early days and content was created. And so
I'm having a heart attack right now because I saw Elrond was at like $80-something, and I made the video. When I made the video, it was at $7.
$7, and I gave you a bunch of my Elrond. Because I thought, it's cheap. I'll pay back my debt. Remember that, you little bugger. Anyways, guys, it's been a lot of fun. Milt, we got a lot of new things happening. Like I said, I'm working on an NFT video. It should be popping in the next few days or early next week.
And we're going to do a ton of interviews. Check out our interview with the CEO of Unique Network, Alex Mitrovic. The other thing to do in a bear market, research. And we're going to be helping you guys because we're going to be interviewing a lot of teams in the upcoming videos.
100%, guys. It's been real, my friend. To the entire Cryptowise family, do us a favor, smash the like button. Join the family by subscribing to the channel and click on that little bell. We'll see you soon, Milt.
See you, Marv.